So what we're going to do today is what's called a yin class, and it's a style of yoga, but I actually incorporated a lot into my Pilates classes as well. So there is somebody who's also started this whole concept of yin Pilates, but essentially what it is that you hold a pose or a stretch or a position for an extended length of time. So typically, we might hold like a normal stretch for 20 to 40 seconds. In yin, you literally hold it anywhere from a minute to 10 minutes. So it can be very, very intense. And so fascia is definitely what they call plastic. It's got plasticity, meaning that it's moldable. So you can actually hold a position and then your fascia starts to change shape, basically. And that's what yin does. But it also has what's called an elastic quality, so like a bouncy quality. And that's also kind of like the strength portion of it. And so all the stuff that we normally do, you know, when we do sort of those trampolining movements, that's actually focusing a little bit more on elasticity of the fascia. And guys, muscles have the same qualities, but kind of in different proportions. Like muscles tend to be more elastic, they rebound more quickly, and less plastic. But you can train them both in both different ways. So it's quite good to be able to alternate or incorporate both training techniques. So what we're going to do today is a yin class. And you guys know that my hips are quite tight. So I like to focus, you can get different themes when it comes to yin. So you can do heart openers, you can focus on the kidney meridians, you know, so you can focus on all these different elements as well. What I'm going to do with you today is focusing on hip openers. So the big thing that you want to remember is that we take our time getting into position, so that when we settle there, you want to be in a position that's comfortable enough for you to stay there for a few minutes, all right? But you want to be able to challenge yourself. So what they talk about in yin is finding your edge, or sort of finding your boundary or that area of discomfort. So it's not completely comfortable, but it's not painful. It's a space where you can breathe into it and allow the fascia to release, relax, and basically find its plasticity. And then anytime we're coming out of it, it's being able to move out very gently. And then usually we do a little bit of a pose in between that's called a rebound pose or a releasing pose before we would go into the next section or focusing on a different muscle group. Okay, so I'll remind you about all of this as we go through our class today. So I'm just using two props today. I've got my foam block, and then I've got my restorative bolster. So just have a couple of different props around you, blankets, towels, pillows, cushions, maybe if you've got a block, and we're going to incorporate it as we go as well. Okay, any questions before we start, guys? Is everyone good? All right. Okay, so I've muted all the background noise. So guys, I want you to please come and lie on your backs to start off with. The other thing is you do want to make sure that you are warm enough. So at any point, if you feel that you need to cover yourself with a blanket or have a jersey on, then feel free to do so. And I'm going to be using my restorative bolster underneath my feet. I'm going to have my knees open to the side, the soles of the feet touching. So you can put your feet up onto a little pillow maybe or a cushion if it feels good for you. Otherwise, put your feet right down onto the floor. Pull the flesh of your bum out the back. Take your hands underneath your head. Lift your head up and almost give yourself a little bit of a traction stretch so that you're lengthening along the spine. And then bring your arms down beside you. Turn the palms of your hands facing upwards. And then just allow yourself to make any final adjustments as we come into our first pose today, which is called the reclining butterfly. And you can soften your gaze or Perhaps close your eyes. If you feel that you need a support underneath your head, then feel free to give yourself a little cushion underneath your head as well. And as you settle into this first pose, just allow your breathing to slow down gently. Allowing your lips to gently close at each inhale and each exhale coming through your nostrils. And we'll be staying in reclined butterfly for 3 minutes. And this is just a beautiful opportunity to find softness into your throat, to open up across your heart space, to soften and release into your belly, and to soften into the hips. So in a lot of ways, this is a very vulnerable pose. And as you lie here and breathe, just allow yourself that experience of being vulnerable and knowing that you are safe on your mat, safe in your space. Stay connected into your breath. Noticing any areas of tension that you may be holding. And just allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper and to really give yourself to the floor, to the earth underneath you. Take a moment to notice any feelings or emotions that may be coming up for you. And just allow yourself to breathe with it. You don't have to chase it away, just observe, notice. Keeping a gentle softness around your eyes and the tops of your cheeks. And you can have your eyes open or closed as we take just a few deeper, fuller breaths in and out. Becoming aware of all the points of contact of your body to the ground, of your feet resting on your cushion or your blankets. And we take just one more deep breath in through the nose. And this time, open your mouth and a long sigh out. And slowly blinking your eyes open, bring yourself back into your space. Taking your time as you bring your knees slowly together. So if you need to use your hands to help you, feel free to do so. Slowly bringing the knees all the way up. And then placing your hands just lightly onto your lower belly. And let's just tilt the hips backwards and forwards a few times. Feeling that rocking action, feeling that wave, that ripple that travels up your spine. Perhaps noticing if your head is moving gently with your spine without forcing it. It's bringing a little bit of life and energy. Then just settle. And from here, bring your right knee up. Turn your knee out and hooking your ankle over the knee. And if it feels good for you to flex that right ankle, it helps to stabilize the knee. And in your own time, start to lift the left leg up, wrapping your hands around the back of your leg or wherever you can hold on to. If this is really difficult for you to get into, and we're going to be staying here for 3 minutes on this side, so what you may want to do is put your foot up against the wall or maybe up against the couch so that you don't have to work so hard to hold yourself there if that feels appropriate for you. Otherwise, taking a few moments to make your final adjustments as we come into our figure of 4. And you might already start to notice that there's quite a wonderful release around the right hip and maybe quite deep into the joints or maybe a little bit more superficial for you. And just once again, I invite you to either close your eyes or to soften your gaze and start to release yourself, finding softness, connecting into your breath. And once again, just noticing any discomfort. And can you allow yourself to be with that discomfort without having to pull away? And this is the beauty of connecting into our breath and how it gives us an opportunity to have this experience and to know that we are okay. We're fine here. And at any point, if it moves beyond discomfort and into pain, then give yourself permission to readjust and then to resettle. Finding the weight at the back of your head, softening through your shoulders and the back of your ribs. Gentle inhale and gentle exhale. Start to notice the shift that is taking place as we come into just the last few moments of this figure of 4 on the right. And then taking your time as you slowly release, allowing your left foot to come down either onto your cushion or to the floor. Help yourself as you uncross the right foot. Take a moment to place both feet down, hands onto your lower belly, and just once again coming into a soft tilting and releasing of your pelvis. That gentle wave as it travels up your spine. Take a moment to settle yourself, and then bring the left leg up, turning the left knee upwards, crossing that ankle over, and again feel free to flex the foot if it helps you with your knee. And then lifting the right leg up, wrapping your hands around the back of the leg. If this is very easy for you, you might even be able to take your hands around the front of the shin there and draw the leg a little closer. Or you may need to once again put your foot up against a wall or a couch. And then take a moment to make any final adjustments. And then settling into your breath, settling into your shape. Taking a moment perhaps to observe where are you feeling it on this left side? Is it different from the right? Find a place where you can settle into this release for the 3 minutes. Using your breath to carry you through any discomfort, any physical or perhaps emotional discomfort. Allow your eyes to melt backwards into your head, softening your forehead, softening the tops of your cheeks, your jaw, your lips and your tongue. Easy breath in and out. As you surrender yourself into this pose, finding the weight of your pelvis, the weight of your ribs. Pausing here for just a few more breaths in and out. And taking your time as you release yourself, placing your foot either gently to the floor or onto your bolster, uncrossing the left foot, hands resting lightly to your belly, and once again, softly tilting your hips forwards and backwards. And just giving yourself an opportunity to observe the shift that is taking place. And then just allow yourself to find stillness. And you're welcome to keep your feet resting up on top of your cushion, or you can place them to the floor as we come into a reclining twist. So taking both your knees over towards the left, and you may want to place an additional support underneath your knees. If you find that it's too much on your lower back, then rather take your feet onto the floor and then move your bolster or your prop underneath your knees so that you don't feel that there's too much pull around the sacroiliac joint or the lower back. And then you can lightly rest your left hand either onto your hip or maybe even bring it down your leg a little bit to add to the twist. Right arm is going to reach just out to the side, turning your head to look over your shoulder. And once again, we're going to be settling into this pose for 3 minutes on the side. So please make any adjustments that you need. Maybe you even need to bring your wings up a little bit higher, or perhaps you need to split your feet, so one foot is on the floor in front of the other. So there's no right or wrong. It's finding the space that works for you. And then once again, I invite you to close your eyes or perhaps just soften your gaze. And then allow your breath to carry you just a little bit deeper And as you bring your awareness to your breath, allow it to expand you from the inside out. So rather than pulling yourself into this twist, allow your breath to release you into this twist. Notice the weight of your head, the weight of your shoulders, the opening across your heart space. Just notice any conversation that you might be having with yourself. And allow it to be without any judgment. Just allow your thoughts and your words to drift past. Bringing yourself back onto your mat, into your body, and into this moment. Notice any tension that you may be holding around your ankles, your feet, and your toes. And just using your breath, using each exhale, just allowing your ankles to soften, allowing your feet to relax, allowing your toes to relax, and notice if there's a shift that ripples up your legs as you release. Taking just a few more moments here to breathe. And as we get ready to bring ourselves back to center, you are welcome to keep your eyes closed, or perhaps you'd like to blink your eyes open gently with a soft gaze. Start by rolling your head gently back to the center. And then perhaps bringing your arms down. Maybe you need to help yourself as you bring your feet, your knees, your hips, your pelvis back to the center. And once again, just pause here. It's an opportunity to notice two sides of your body. Notice the upper half and the lower half of your body. And then once again, in your own time, rolling knees over towards the right. Give yourself any props that you need. Bringing the left arm up towards the side, turning your head to look over towards the left, and then perhaps making any adjustments to your leg position that you need on this side. Adjusting your arm and your hand position. And then when you have found your shape, Start to settle into your breath, each inhale and each exhale, as it expands you and releases you from the inside out. And again, without any judgments, just noticing if your body is in a different shape on this side in comparison to the left. Allow each inhale and each exhale to lengthen just a little bit. Allow your body to surrender a little bit deeper into this pose. Opening up across the heart. And finding that gentle softness into your belly as you breathe. Bringing your awareness to your neck and your shoulders. Just allowing the back of your ribs, your shoulders, and your head to melt a little bit heavier into the floor. Noticing the ripple, any release that travels down your arms as you do so. Just coming into our last few breaths in this reclined twist. Taking your time as you roll your head gently back to the center. Sliding your hands down towards your hips and your legs. And again, assisting yourself as you bring yourself all the way upright. And then just for a moment, sliding your legs out straight. And then letting your feet flop wherever feels best for you. Maybe just rolling the hips gently. Letting your hands rest lightly on your belly. As you just start to integrate and acknowledge the movements, the poses, and the breath that we've done so far. Notice perhaps the softness around the front of your hips, the back of your hips, perhaps across your lower back and your neck. Blinking your eyes gently open. And then taking your time as you bend your knees, placing your feet to the ground. And we'll be moving into a supported bridge. So I'm going to be using my foam block. You can use a folded up towel, or you can use a cushion of your couch. And you're just going to lift your pelvis. Keep the block fairly low down. Don't go up onto its highest level. And placing it just underneath the sacrum, or maybe a little towards your lower back where it feels completely supportive for you. Walk your feet nice and wide, and then let your knees drop in together. And you've got lots of choices with your arms. I quite like to have my arms to the side, and then I bend my elbows as if I'm going to take my arms overhead, and it's a lovely way to open up across the front of the shoulder. If you're very supple, maybe you would like to bring your arms all the way over and hold your elbows with your opposite hand. Or if that feels just a bit too much, you can bring your hands down beside you. But wherever you choose to settle, just finding ease through the neck and shoulders, ease through the lower back, and then we're going to be staying here for 3 minutes. Softening your gaze, closing your eyes. And taking a scan down your body, starting from the top of your head to your neck, becoming aware of any tension you may be holding. And can you connect into your breath to soften and release? Scanning shoulders and chest. Arms. Front of your ribs and the back of your ribs. Lower back. Belly. Front of your pelvis, your hips. The back of your pelvis, the back of your hips. Knees, ankles, and feet. Notice the gentle placement of your internal organs as you breathe. Notice the weight of your lungs and your heart. Coming into the last few moments of our supported bridge. Perhaps allowing your breath to deepen and extend. Taking your time as you blink your eyes open, keeping your gaze soft, releasing your hands, moving your arms gently, slowly, with care. Bringing your feet a little bit closer, allowing the knees to separate, and just take a moment to connect your feet to the ground. Lifting the weight of your pelvis just off the block. Placing your pelvis to the ground and just pausing there for a moment as you feel that wonderful space and ease that you've created for yourself. Notice the softness, how very little work needs to be done right now. Taking your time as you bring one knee towards your chest, bring the other knee in to join. Maybe it feels good for you to rock a little bit from side to side, bringing awareness to your sacrum, your lower back. Bringing your head towards your knees as you tuck yourself just into a ball shape for a moment. Feeling your kidneys and your lower back opening into the floor. And then releasing your head slowly down. We're going to make our way into a seated position, very gently. So bring your hands behind your knees. Moving your legs away from your body. And feel the pressure of your legs into your hands for a moment. Then peeling your head and your shoulders forward and start to pour your body weight into your feet as you come all the way forward and then lightly resting your forehead to your knees. Come all the way upright into a seated position as we make our way into the dragonfly. So you're going to bring your legs nice and wide, and I'm just going to move back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So it's a lovely opening for the inner thighs here, but you might also find that there's quite a strong pull behind the knees. So if you need to bend the knees and put some pillows or towels underneath your knees, feel free to do so. And then you may very well need to have a block or a bolster and a block in front of you. So have your props ready as you need them. And then you can either just lightly rest your hands behind you, and this is your pose. If it's available to you, you can bring your hands to the front, Perhaps you want to come down onto your forearms, and because my hips are tight, I'm using the block, or you could put your arms down on the floor. And then give yourself a space where you can rest your head down, either on a prop. If you don't have a prop, then why not do this? You can actually just prop your chin in your hands. And again, we're going to be staying in this pose for 4 minutes. So find your edge. You don't want it to be completely comfortable. And then making any last minute adjustments that you need. Allow your gaze to soften or your eyes to close. And using your breath to create space along your spine. So there's no feeling of collapsing into your back, there's no feeling of compression into your back. Opening up across your heart. And just start to become aware as you move into the pose a little deeper that you might be able to adjust your position. So I'm starting to feel that as my body releases, I can bring my head just a little bit lower. So make your adjustments as your body releases. Finding your edge. And can you allow yourself to experience the discomfort without pulling back? Notice at which point you would like to fidget. And can you allow yourself to just stay for one more breath in and out? And then perhaps one more breath in and out. Perhaps you're able to sink and surrender just a little bit further. As we move into the last minute of our pose, allowing your lower back to soften, allowing your belly to soften. And notice the gentle connection of your sit bones to the earth. Allowing them to root you. Taking 3 more breaths in and out. Lengthen, extend, expand from the inside out. And as always, being gentle, moving with care. Help yourself as you slowly, slowly come all the way upright. Help yourself as you bring your hands just around the back of your legs underneath your knees. Bringing your legs gently together. Placing your feet to the ground and just allow your head to relax down. Taking a moment just to pause here. On your next breath, coming upright, and we're coming into our final pose, and it's called Sukhasana, which literally means easy pose. So I'm going to be sitting up on a bolster, again because my hips are tight, and just bring your left foot in nice and tight, then your right foot to the front so that the knees are nice and wide. Again, make any adjustments you need. You guys might be quite comfortable sitting on the floor, which is fine as well. And then once you've settled into your pose here, just taking your hands and placing the back of your wrist into your waist. And you want to get them supported in a position where you don't even have to hold your arms there. They're just propped onto your pelvis. This is called seagull wings. It's quite a lovely release for the back of the wrist. If that feels really easy for you, then maybe you could even walk your hands up a little bit higher so that they're right underneath the wrists. But you might find it's a very strong release along the back of the arms there. And once again, allow your gaze to soften, or perhaps you'd like to close your eyes completely. We pause here for just 1 minute. Finding that lightness through your crown. And perhaps turning your inward gaze to that little spot just between your eyebrows. Focusing. Using your breath to create space along your spine. Allowing your eyes to stay softly closed. Just allow your inward gaze to soften and release. And then softly blinking your eyes open, allowing your hands to release all the way down. Resting hands lightly towards your knees as you create a little bit of height along your spine. And then just softly turning your head from side to side. Easy movements around your neck, your shoulders. Bring your head back to the center. Turning your palms up as we inhale and reach all the way up. Connecting fingertips to their partners. Exhale, opening your arms wide. Sweeping them all the way around. And just allow yourself to settle for a moment. Nicely done, guys. Is everyone still awake? Let me just open up the conversation if you guys have any questions or comments.